their own ideas, their own images of what they think is like. So like the problem with like Eastern Orthodox churches back then, where it was geared where they would take off everything that was bad from the Bible and try to give everybody that was what was good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Wait.
So
So they took out the bad from the Bible and only gave out the good?
what wasn't the bad? It was more like the scary part, like the thing that
Oh, okay. Yeah, so like
like
apocalypse and stuff like that?
yeah, and just like warped it where it was like only the good stuff. You know, like oh he loves you, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so from there, that's where like a lot of like warping came out of. And so a lot of times it was just I find it like scary sometimes. Churches can like kids get into things where you know how you said the demons coming out.
Yeah.
It's like well, what the hell's coming out of this child?
No, it wasn't.
What what
It wasn't. It
yeah,
wasn't. It wasn't a child retreat. It was like a. It was more
or
geared
like
towards adults, but my mom still put me in
or,
anyway.
no, I mean not. Oh God, man, damn. But you know what I'm getting from, right? It's
Yeah.
like what who would you see it to be true from a person like for it demon wise? Do you think a demon is in everybody, or do you think
Mm,
a demon manifests, or do you think a demon just messes, or do you think a demon just doesn't exist? If that makes sense.
I
Do you get where I'm
think.
coming?
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, because like if the person who was doing the whole like demon stuff, exorcism, do you think they really have because you see all those
Demons.
stuff, right? You see like, oh, exorcism going live, and you would see it, like in African churches.
Hmm.
Um, they're like, you like,
I think
have you
it's
ever seen
more a
that?
combination of those. No, I haven't.
Oh, it's funny. I mean, it's not funny. It's like it's not something that you would laugh at, but um, it's like pretty terrifying. Like people are like the dude is like upside down, crawling. Like I don't know. He's like his
Yeah,
way
like
like
the
out of the
ladies.
church,
Yeah, the ladies over at the retreat, they were like shaking too. It was scary.
and it's like, do you think? So since you saw it, you tell me. Do you think the ladies were just going with like oh okay this lady wants me to do it like something's coming out of me, you know, like, or they were like forced into it?
um,
That's the first option. That's
I
the
don't
first
know
option. Hold on, hold
because church is more like you go for your own benefit, right?
on.
Um, I think those women just had like a problem, like a very
Yeah, it could.
serious one,
Yeah.
and maybe they did have like like something that was tormenting them,
Hmm.
but I'm not sure
Yeah, yeah, that could be the
because
thing too.
I've
It could
never
be like,
experienced it ever.
yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, I'm glad you're still good. Um, but saying, oh yeah, it could also be that they're like, oh, they had a very hard week, and so whatever's somehow like it's kind of like it's like a medicine to them. It's like it relieves them of their stress. Um, and even you could say that, right? But I did have there's an interesting story. So there's these two people from like my church,
Mhm.
right? And their mission was to set out make homes in Africa for the people in need.
Yeah.
And so they've been living in Africa for 4 or 5 years. The dude, he's a great guy. He's so buff. He's intense, bro. I'll put a photo in a bit, but it's like it's
And
scary how
it's
buff he is. He's completely white though, and his wife is black. I think African ethnicity. Um, but as they made their way over there, it's like a whole new culture, right?
yeah.
Um, different languages, stuff like that. And and this isn't just like this isn't just to like bromance. This is like just keep this in mind. This dude is like 5'11". He's like one of the buffest. He's like 250. He benches like probably like 300, 400, 500. I
Uh-huh.
don't know. Um,
Starting
What?
to
What?
sound more like a workout podcast.
No, 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 no. One of his you'll see one of his encounters. And he tries not to talk about this too much because he says that it's like it's just not a good experience.
Hmm.
They went to like an African church and they were like doing like possess exorcisms there,
Hmm.
and there's this like one little girl. That's what he says. So I mean, he could be right, he could be false, but it's just to give you an image. Um, he would tell the girl like what's wrong, and like everybody there is like African. She would start off first talk like speaking in Swahili, which is the native language, but like out of nowhere like there was a huge click where like the girl transitions from Swahili to English, like perfect accents, everything.
Yeah.
And I think he said it's like it spoke to him in perfect English, telling him that he wasn't gonna get like out of the body. And he said that
What?
he tried to like tie the girl down, like not tie, but like keep her down.
Yeah.
But like the girl was so strong that she managed to like throw him off her, like off of. And that sounds like a movie. And so I
Yeah, that
mean,
sounds like the like the exorcism movie.
yeah. I forgot what was the aftermath, but that's probably like the closest thing of like a story I have. I would definitely wouldn't like to experience uh, an exorcism, but I mean, it's interesting, you know. It's like, but it's also like, do you?
It's sort of spooky.
Because I know a lot of people mess around with like Ouija boards.
Yeah, and they open
Like, there's one at
doors.
Target.
They sell
You
them
can
at
buy one
Toys
at
R
yeah.
Us.
You saw that?
Yeah.
So stupid. But yeah, how do you see those? How do you see like stuff like that, like Ouija boards and like games that open up to different dimensions?
I feel like there's actually something up with those things, especially
Mhm.
the like the genuine Ouija boards, like the ones that are made out of bone. Like
Yeah,
I would never touch one of those, man. Scary.
I think my dad said he played with it once when he was young. I'll ask him later, but no, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
They're like,
Um. What was it? Oh yeah. I think the thing that really like caused me to be afraid of like Ouija boards and like
death. Oh,
opening like portals or dimensions up was the movie Jumanji. It was the first sort of
oh,
like quote
yeah.
unquote scary movie that I watched.
Hmm.
It freaked me out. Um, when I was a kid, I couldn't even go to the restroom alone. So
Really?
yeah, I was really scared of it. And now, as I think, as I've grown older, I've sort of like grown a fear towards things like that. I would never try it.
I mean, the crazy part is we have like the ability to like access that.
Yeah, and it's
Um,
so like
it's like it can give us a
close. Yeah,
guarantee. It gives us like a guarantee, like, oh, it this exists, this doesn't. But are you? Would we be willing to make that error
there's
or
like a
that
no, not.
chance?
I wouldn't see it as an error. It's more like a
I mean,
consequence.
what if you get like possessed mid Ouija board? I'd probably be like, shit. Like I'd leave you. I don't know if I'd leave you, but I'd be like, what in the actual like, what am I supposed to do here?
Like if something actually did happen.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you'd close up the Ouija board first.
Then what do I do with you though? Like it's like
Wait, wait,
I
wait.
can't. You can't risk something like that, and I'm sure it doesn't go that dramatic. I'm sure like the demon doesn't just show up as like, "What's up, poppin'?" Like possessed, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure you. because you've always seen those videos, right? Where it's like you gotta give them like access into your house or something.
Yeah.
You know about Ouija boards, right? Like
I've watched
in depth.
a lot
Yeah.
of um.
Yeah. Or like that thing where you have to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Um, do you think that's why we don't see demons?
Why?
Because we don't like let them in?
Hmm. I wouldn't say that because a lot of people like I feel like how do I put this? So you know scary movies?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they open a door for a negativity. If that makes sense. Even though it's
Mm-hmm.
all like sort of fiction,
Uh-huh.
I feel like um it causes fear in the person, which makes them think. Or do you know how you would hallucinate when you were little?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sort of like that. But I'm not sure about like real demons though.
I mean, there's this interesting thing, right? It's like in the church, it's like the thing. It's like the images. God's given us freedom, right, to do anything, and it's gotten to the point. I think this is where they come from. We could do anything we want, right?
Mm,
So as like people like evolved, we've let like entry to demons because we could like. There's nothing that says we can't do it. You know,
yeah.
um, we're like all allowed to do whatever we want, and that's how like death and all that works, right? It's like um, that's why people die and stuff like that. It's like we're made as humans, you know.
You
Do whatever you
can,
do. I mean, you choose however you want to live your life. Who knows what'll happen in the after or the before? But we like, you know, does it make sense?
yeah.
That's why
It's,
there's like massacres, children that you know stuff like that. It's like humans are humans. The errors we make in life are because of us. You know.
but also with that freedom comes consequence. So
Exactly.
not everything is truly like free.
Well, I mean, in this in the world, like as in Earth wise,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like if
that makes
okay,
it.
you have the freedom to jump off a building, but like your consequences possibly and most likely
Yeah,
death.
could be. I mean, it all depends on. I mean, the person, you know, like how they, whatever they view and stuff. Because there could be no consequence too. You know, they could just die and just not have anything.
I mean like an afterlife?
Yeah, I mean, because I don't want to be on one specific position. So, I mean, that person who dies could die and there'd be nothing in the end,
Mhm.
or he could die and he gets a consequence, or he dies and there's no consequence, or he dies and he gets to some other better place. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk too much, so I'll let you elaborate your idea.
Um wait, what was
Are you saying
say?
that
It's
about
cuz
like how people can choose to die and the consequences are bad?
oh, sorry, I'm getting really sleepy, but
No, I know, and I'm just trying to push this through so we can finish the podcast,
I remember wait, so my
and then have
thought
another question after the demons one.
okay, so um the thing about hold up.
Freedom boys.
Oh, let me just stop. Let me just stop being uh, death and consequence. Like you know how when Fuck.
All right, yeah. Can you want me to ask another question so we can just like
Yeah.
so you can get like a back on like so you have like a place to like talk about. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, boy.
Yes, I will be talking about this. All right. Our next question is what is better, Taco Bell or Subway? No. Okay.
Honestly, Subway.
Yeah, I don't like Taco Bell. Okay, but my next question is, you ready? You ready?
Yeah, I
This is
am.
this is a true question. Yeah, I'm out of questions. Okay, no, but in full honesty, how do you? Oh, there's that one cool
Oh my
thing. I want
god.
to talk about it. I want to.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find. Oh, okay, yeah. I want to show you this one. So we're gonna put this up on the screen. I actually just want to go over some spooky images, right? And we tell each other the backstory of what that image is. So while I'm talking about the story, Dev, I want you to look up some scary photo and tell me the backstory of that. If that makes sense.
Oh, like make a
So
story
like,
of the. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
no, 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 no. So okay, this one is called. It's in Japanese, but the lettering refers to the neck is what the name is called, and this is a folklore in Japan,
Hmm.
which is how this ghost typically was identified was by its neck. They can appear as regular humans. Oh, this is a good story. I'll tell you the story back in a bit too, because I have a my brother. He had, uh, I'll get back to that in a bit. But they can appear as regular humans, but can stretch their necks to abnormal lengths. There are also another type of these, where their head can detach from their neck and fly around freely. This one's
Wait, these
called
are.
escape.
I've seen. You know. Okay. I watch a lot of
And
anime. I've
uh-huh,
seen these. I've seen these in. I've seen these in Inuyasha, the flying
what?
head one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's cool.
No, I don't think this photo that you're gonna about to see is cool though. I'd say if anything, it's. But I need to show it to you. But while I'm showing you, do you want to hear like another scary story?
Mm-hmm. Oh
You
wait.
like scary stories?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean
Okay,
yes.
but first you go though, because I've been talking too much.
No, I wanted to. Since we're on the topic of like folklore and like eerie things,
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if this is like very on topic, but it's
Yes.
sort of like an art movement that
Yes.
that has it's sort of new, I guess you could say.
Yes.
Have you heard of
Yeah.
Eroguro?
What?
Eroguro.
Eroguro?
Uh
I
huh.
feel like I have.
It's like a combination of violence and sex, all put into one illustration.
Wow. What's such perfection? I think I have heard about it though. Um.
And it reminds me of um, that thing you sent, that head, because they also include a lot of
They
different
they
huh?
they distort them or something while they're like having sex.
No, like it's have it's sort of similar. Like they use like
How do you
folklore and
spell it?
tales. Here's Erogudo.
Inuyasha?
No.
Oh, is it what you're sending me right now?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah. Man, this is what. Dev, this ain't nothing new. It's all over your Tumblr, bro.
Yeah, I know, but it's sort of like they use folklore stories and stuff like that.
Isn't this like because I know in Japan, most of like the female like demons are like depicted like nude, right? Aren't they?
Mm, they are.
I think they are. So I know this is how Japan rocks. I mean, like, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
But
Hold
so I'm
up.
saying like this is kind of like I can see where you're coming from because it's like Japanese culture.
Hold up. No, I don't think they are depicted as like
Aren't
nude.
they like the demon women or whatever?
No. I mean, yeah, I
No.
guess sometimes, like,
So if
sometimes,
you,
but not all the time.
well, I mean, of course not all the time, but you get what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Oh no, because if you don't, it's right. I don't mind.
I don't know. I searched it up. It's mostly like they're like in a kimono. Very
I'll see if I
traditional.
can find one. But yeah, so you were talking about Eroguru or something like that.
Yeah.
So do you want to continue on that?
Yeah, it's brought up a lot of new ways of
Country.
storytelling and
Aw.
depicting horror. It's very disturbing but fun.
And so that's I feel like that's the other thing too. Um, as humans,
Mm.
we haven't experienced like because right now in Syria there's so many issues in Syria with like torture and like children dying and whatnot. I feel like sometimes as like being in like a first world country we forget that feeling
Yeah.
of like what true like horror like and torture and running away from feels like. So to us, like seeing something like this is like, oh, that's kind of cool, like, you know.
Hmm.
Um, so it makes me wonder: is it like the interest because we've never experienced it gears us toward this kind of stuff, and like, oh, it's like, whoa, what? This is crazy. It's cool, you know.
Hmm.
How do you think?
Or it might be trying to satisfy those dark thoughts, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, I think that's why people do Ouija board and stuff. It's they
Yeah.
want to satisfy that part of interest, curiosity.
Hmm.
Um, So yes, I feel like maybe this art could be like that thing.
Yeah.
Um, do you think? Is it, oh, because this also can go with like stuff like in the afterlife. You know, people always see hell to be bad, right? Do you think some people enjoy it?
Yeah, of course.
And so how would you say that works? Is it like they're just y-
It's their interests. Like it's what it's what they invest their time in. Like psychopaths, they don't.
like the anime?
No, it's a real thing.
Like a psychopath, yeah.
Yeah, how they like enjoy and they love violence and all the negative things. One, all
Hmm.
the they like.
Yes.
Hold on, wait.
Hmm.
Psychopath, psychopath. Definition: a person suffering from chronic mental disorder with abnormal and violent social behavior. Meaning,
Dang.
I feel like they enjoy it, satisfies them.
Do you think those people are born into the world already as a psychopath? Or do you think life causes them to do that?
I feel like they're born like that.
And if they are born like that, then that's just crazy, man. Dang, that's crazy. Because I
I
mean,
feel it's because I think it's because part of their brain shuts down, like the part of the brain that feels empathy. And just, you know?
because it's like, you ever thought about it? It's like, how can someone do such a thing?
Yeah, but for them it's like
It's like, why
breathing.
hasn't anyone else done this before?
It's for them they they feel like they may feel like they need it to keep on going or also go crazy. They'll snap.
Mm-hmm. Man, I just realized how I have to go to sleep by myself.
Wait, what?
Cause like after this, I always have like this nightly routine thing.
Yeah?
So I'm gonna have to like be by myself up here. Like
Wait, you're not doing your night routine? Your night routine?
no, I haven't done it yet. So I still have to do it, and so it just sucks how it's like. Cause I usually we keep all the lights off, and so it's just gonna be me like upstairs by myself.
Do it right now.
No, cause I want to get this podcast over with. But um,
Why don't we finish it tomorrow? We only it was so easy to get 1 hour today. We can just get the other hour tomorrow.
no, we can do it, Dev.
Oh my god.
Just get out of the way. I don't want tomorrow. I want to play Monster Hunter and Persona. Okay, but we're getting off topic, right, Baka? Apologize.
This
No, I mean I
podcast
apologize.
this podcast is gonna be so sloppy, Dennis.
It's so sloppy. It's very interesting, I'm sure. But do you have any questions, Dev? Because I was wondering if you were like curious as to like maybe it doesn't have to be about ghosts or anything. You have any other like subjects?
Um
Oh, do you want to hear the Skinwalker story?
yeah, yeah.
You do?
Yes.
All right.
Will
Okay.
will it put me to sleep?
Uh, maybe, but I'll wake you up. But this will be part of the podcast. Baka can listen to this scary story. Be like, ooh, that was a good one. Alright, I think you'll be intrigued, Dev. I don't think you'll sleep. Alright?
Okay.
Okay. Alright, so let's get. Alright, so this is the part of the podcast.
Just sorry.
This is this was perfectly planned. Definitely not out of the blue. Alright, this is a story time of the podcast, and we're gonna go over the story of the Skinwalker. Um, this story is told from my brother. So I mean, who knows? He could be right. He could be wrong. I don't know. So what it was when he was in 11th grade, he had this really good friend of him, of his, my bad, whose name we're gonna say is Demetrius or Deshante. Are are you all done?
Yeah.
All right. So him and Deshante.
Change his name.
This- is there something wrong with Deshante, Div?
Never mind. It's okay. It's good.
Okay. All right. So him and Deshante. Okay, we're gonna call him Will. All right, so
Okay.
him and Will we're gonna go off on a camping trip, right? And so my brother had his car back then, so he was able to take his car with him. And so him and his friend Will drove off to, I forgot what campsite it is, but it's a certain campsite. And so um, my his friend Will had a really good friend of his as a childhood, whose grandpa owned the property of that campsite, and they're like, hey, maybe he could give me a deal, or he can give us free nighttime access, you know.
Oh.
And so they invited that guy's friend. They invited Will's friend, one of his childhood friends, but he didn't really talk to him that much anymore, you know.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, they went off. They started camping, and they Will's friend, we'll name him uh the other guy. He's gonna be the other guy, right?
Mhm.
So the other guy brought a tent, and he had his own tent, and my brother brought his car. Um, so they were like eating, or they were about to eat, and they were making a fire. And this is what my brother would tell me, right? So the other dude was stiff, like stiff still. He hadn't said a word yet throughout the whole entire like night. I mean, yeah, 'cause now it was nighttime for them
Yeah.
because they barely got there. He was stiff still. He wouldn't say anything. But then he spoke a word, and he told my brother and his friend Will. He said he wants to go into the forest with me.
What the hell? I thought he was
And
gonna
my
say,
brother,
"Let's leave."
no, my brother was like, nah, we're gonna make a fire. And the guy was like, who wants to go to the forest with me? Let's go. And my brother was like, no, 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 we're gonna stay here. And he's like, come on, let's go inside. The other guy would be like, come on, let's go. Let's go in. I forgot what the specific words were, but he was basically like, hey, let's go into the forest. Come on. And it was like nighttime. It was like 8 o'clock, and it was like time to like stay where you are. Go any further, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And so my brother and his friend were like, bro, are you okay? I mean, like it's nighttime. We're gonna stay here. And the guy was like, come on, come with the forest. Come into the forest with me. And then they're like, no, we're gonna stay here. You can go though. And so the other guy went and he left. And my brother and his friend Will, they were sitting around the campfire, enjoying their food. And they've been eating for an hour now. It's been an hour later.
Mhm.
And they're like, where's the other guy? Like, is he dead? Like, where is he? And then they're like, we have to go back in there. But they're like rethinking themselves. They're like, no, it's too, like, he'll come back. Like, no, he'll. But they're like, at the end, they're like, all right, we need to go in. And so they were walking in, and there's no like scare factor, right? There's no like pop up, right, Dev?
Mhm.
But they were walking in, and they said they were calling his name, and they couldn't hear anything. They couldn't find him. They had their lights and everything, right?
Yeah.
And they said that he couldn't. My brother couldn't really tell, but he swore he saw the other dude's clothes like shredded
What the?
on the ground, and they're like, "Bro, is he dead?" But they didn't want to get too close because they were afraid, and so they were like, "No, no, 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 no. It's too dangerous out here. Let's just go back. We can't. Like, he'll come back. I'll see." Like, and so they left the forest and
Mhm.
went back to the campsite. And when they got back, the guy was sitting at the fire.
What the?
And he had his clothes and everything. But my brother was like, I swear, like, I saw his clothes shredded up and on the ground.
Yeah.
And so when they got there, they're like, where were you? And he was like, I was in the forest. I was like, okay. And so they're about to sit down, and the guy was like, you want to go back to the forest? Like, no, we don't want to. And he was like, let's go into the forest. Like, no, like we just went, you got lost, everything. We don't want to. And then he was like, let's go back into the forest.
Dennis!
And so he kept persisting to go into the forest, and they're like, no,
Even
we
after he got
don't.
back?
Hmm. They're like, no, we're not gonna go. And like the guy was like, go in, come with me. And they're like, no. And
Ooh.
so by the end of the night, my brother's friend Will was like, bro, honestly, my friend has never acted like this. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's not acting like he normally does. We could have to sleep in your car. Like lock the doors. And then the guy would be like, they wouldn't tell him that yet, but the guy was like, guys, come sleep in my tent. Like, no,
Ugh.
no, no, we're gonna sleep in the car. And they're like, and he was like, no, sleep in my tent, guys. And my brother was like, no, we're gonna sleep in our car. You can sleep in your tent. He was like, come on, sleep in my tent. And they're like, no, we're gonna sleep in the car. And so they, my brother said that he had like the worst like night of his life. I mean, imagine like
Oh my god, he sounds like
that's
a murderer. He sounds
that's
like he was.
terrifying.
Yeah.
And so they
Even his
slept in.
friend was
Imagine
like,
like,
oh my god, yeah.
well, I would have been like, I would have been out, bro. Imagine like if you're sleeping, you're just looking over the window.
And like, this guy's friend is just like sharpening a knife. Hey guys, come to my tent.
But that's the thing. I haven't finished my story, so it'll change your perspective in a bit. But they slept in their car, they locked the doors, and they woke up in the morning. And the guy was there. He didn't speak a word. He was being normal. And then they left the campsite.
To the forest?
Uh, yeah, I mean they left the campsite, and not like as in the car, and they went back home, and they dropped the guy's friend off, the other guy.
Mm.
Um, and when they dropped him off, my brother's friend Will said that he walked his friend back home
Yeah.
into the like outside the car, like he like they dropped him off and he walked into the door,
Mhm.
and he said that he swore it smelled like something was like rotten, like dead inside the house.
What the fuck?
And then he didn't want to ask questions, so he left. And then they got back in the car, they went back home. And then later on, my brother's friend Will tried calling the other dude,
Mhm.
and they wouldn't pick up. They tried looking up his Facebook, everything. He wasn't found anywhere. He went back to their place. The house was sold. There's no like the family of his friend. There's no like information
They just like
found of
disappeared.
him. They just disappeared. So now that we know that, there's a term on the interwebs called skinwalker. Do you know what a skinwalker is, Dev?
No. No, no,
Okay.
no.
A skinwalker is a person in a certain Native American traditions who can transform into any animal when wearing its pelt. And that's just like,
Oh! Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
but, but, so it's an, I forgot what the tribe is called. It's from, let me see, what's the no, Navajo, something like that. Navajo, I don't know. Navajo, something like that. American Indian club, and let me see what tribe.
Mhm.
Look up Skinwalker on images.
Okay. Hold up.
It's not too terrifying. But what it is, it's basically like something that could turn into an animal or some kind of demonic creature. And what they usually do is it'll like it'll kill like everything. It'll kill the person that it becomes or whatever. And it can take transformation of anyone. If that makes sense.
Mhm.
So my brother believes Skin that this the other dude was a skinwalker. That's why he saw the clothes on the floor. And that's why he said the house smelled like rotting. And that's why there's no one left in the house. Because the skinwalker killed everyone.
But wouldn't it be on the news?
That's the thing. The skinwalkers are so good. They can just like erase they just
Evidence?
erase evidence existence.
The so before before the guy went to the okay, so before the guy's friend went to the camping site with you with with your brother and the other dude.
Hmm.
So they he killed the parents before he went.
What?
Like if it was a
You
smell
mean?
of rotting, then wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, I just read another definition of skinwalker, and I didn't know this one. By committing a cultural taboo, usually killing a member of their own family, a witch can become a skinwalker.
Oh, so it would be like that, right?
Yeah,
That's why he was acting weird at the camping site.
who knows? My brother, yeah, that's about it. My brother doesn't know anything afterwards.
There's like nothing,
Nothing.
not even like friends of friends who know him.
I mean, I don't know that far.
Yeah. Did the guy smell weird?
I don't think so.
That's so odd. The only place that I've heard of a skinwalker is a more like flowery version of it, where I was reading this book and it was about werewolves, and this girl wore this pelt and she turned into one of them, but if she stayed too long connected to the pelt. Oh wait. It was it was a bride one. It was a manga. It was called
Fruit basket?
no. Do you remember the guy with the skull? Like the skull guy, and he has a little orphaned girl with red hair.
No.
Oh, Ancient Magus wife. That one. She had this pelt, and if she stayed too long in the pelt, she would become the animal. Well, in this case, she was wearing a fox pelt,
Hmm.
and the other book I was talking about is a different one. It had some similar thing, but this one it was a wolf pelt, and um, she had to get out of it out of her own will. I don't know, reminded me of
Oh,
that. Yeah.
that's what you think of.
When you said that, yeah.
But yeah, we've been doing a lot of scary story now.
I think that one that you said right now was probably the scariest.
I mean, yeah, I guess. It's just strange to like talking about this for like how long have we been talking?
An hour and 43 minutes. 40, yeah.
Yeah, it's been yeah definitely not the best for the head or
Nope.
for the mind. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely don't feel like I'm being nourished. You know, but
Me neither.
I feel like I lost brain cells.
Okay.
But I guess we can talk about a new topic, which is I mean, this podcast is open for anything really, right?
Yeah.
So how's life?
um. Oh! I want to talk about the room next door. This room in my house.
Oh, okay, I thought you were gonna be something scary.
Yeah, it is.
Wait, do we have homework?
Yeah, for stats.
Uh,
I was gonna do it tomorrow in the morning.
I'll speed run. Okay, but you're saying?
No, it's because this room right next to me, um, it's really strange. I feel like there's like not to be all, on stuff, but it feels
Was
like
it the
there's
one
like
that's in
a,
between?
huh?
Is it the one that's in between your bathroom and your room?
The one that's like directly right next to it, like right next to my door.
Yeah,
Yeah, that one. The one that's painted blue.
yeah.
Well, I feel like there's like a negative energy. Whenever I sleep in there, I always have nightmares for some reason. Today I had this nightmare where this dude was chasing my family, and he was like, I don't know, he was sort of like he was a murderer. He was a notorious murderer, and I don't know, for some reason, whenever I have dreams like that, I always end up talking to them, like trying to get them to be better, you know?
Yeah.
Dennis, are you like falling asleep?
No, no, I'm paying attention. Why?
It's because you sound really sleepy.
No, I'm here. Why? What's up?
Nothing, that's
You
it.
were talking about you're talking about that you feel negative energy,
Yeah, I always
and
have.
you said you had
Huh?
a nightmare or something.
Yeah, I always have nightmares in that room.
Yeah. I mean, don't sleep in that room. It's not good. I guess.
I mean, it's alright.
Is there like a bed in there?
Yeah, there's a really big, comfy bed.
So the boys' room has the best bed.
Yeah, it has the best bed, but uh,
Do you like going in there?
no, I don't.
Have you told your parents?
No,
Why not?
they're gonna think I'm cuckoo.
No, I mean, like mama, papa, I keep having nightmares in this room.
I mean, what are they gonna do about it?
I don't know. Be like, they'll probably sleep in there and see if anything happens.
To them, they'll probably just sleep, like have the best sleep of their life or something. They'll be like, no, there's nothing there.
Is there like any like mirrors or in there?
Yeah, there's
Any
one.
windows?
Yeah, there's a mirror right next to the window, and
Is it?
the mirror is like pretty big too. And the room is,
Do you like?
huh?
Do you like mirrors?
No, no.
Really?
I don't like it when they're like when they're like on top, like not on top of me, but like on my head. Not on my head, like on top of my head when I'm sleeping. I don't like that.
Or like when you look up and there's a mirror?
Yeah.
I've never seen those.
Or when there's Or it's on the wall of the side of where you're sleeping.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're sleeping on the opposite side and you can see yourself.
Yeah.
Are you sleepy now?
What?
Are you falling asleep?
I mean, yeah.
Do you want to call quits now? We can do it
Yeah,
right now
yeah,
if you
we
want.
have 49 minutes, so yeah.
Alright. Well, take care, Dev. Thank you for joining us on this podcast. Buck, I hope your soul feels a lot better now.
Just like ours
Definitely,
does.
yeah, because definitely it was. Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But so let us see how both of our nights go as we walk out our doors to use the restrooms and stuff.
Uh,
Are you ready, Dev?
no, I'm not. But I gotta pee.
Yeah, same. Thank you for joining us on our podcast.
Good
See you next
night.
time.
Oh, sorry.
Bye.
See you next time.